Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on FGO. Today we're gonna check very quickly a couple strategies for you to farm on 90++ on the summer event. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So we're gonna go from the most F2P strategies to the most pay-to-win strategies. And we're starting with Gong, of course. Gong is basically the F2P version of Summary Bookie. If you have Gong with enough grails, he's gonna carry you through everything. And the good thing about this event is that's not a roulette event, and that's mean that we can compromise some Cs just so that we can make this strategy works. Because there's a limited amount of items in the store, and we don't have to maximize super effectively every drop. We can just equip whatever Cs and we'll be able to clear the store. So that's the reason why I'm using this craft descent. Dragon's Meridian is just a placeholder. If you have something better, you can equip something better. If not, this C is fine. I mean, it's just a 50% charge. I am going to use mana loading, max mana loading on Martha. So if you don't have that, just equip the SR Sakura craft descent, this one or the new one, which will give you around 70%, 75% MP charge if it's MLB. So it's a pretty decent C and it's pretty useful. So we're using that, we're using Gong, we're using Summer Da Vinci along with Waiver, which you should have because it's on the select SSR at the start of the game. Oberon from a friend supporter, and Shufu because I mean arts. And very important, we are using an outfit that has order change. It's gonna be super important that we use order change in this particular formation. In fact, Caldea's uniform decisive battle is particularly important. You don't want to use combat uniform because this one has the MP strength up paired with the attack up, and it's going to be very important for the second wave. So let's check very quickly this particular run. So for this one, we just start by charging Chen Gong as much as possible. We use Martha to charge Gong, and we use all of Martha's skills on Gong and the enemies. And this one in particular is going to charge Martha. Then we use the defense up from Gong so that we have 100%. And then we use Martha, Gong, and any face card. And that's going to deal with this wave. And it's going to rotate the party. And this MP is going to buff Gong. That's why we use this one. Even though there are no divine type enemies, we're giving Gong a ton of attack up, so it is useful. And that's why Martha is one of the best supporters in the game. F2P supporters in the game. So yeah, that's 1.5 million. But there's three enemies. Of course we're gonna deal that much damage. Now, for the next one, what we want to do is to use all Waver's skills on Gong. And then we change Gong for Shufu. And we give the Shufu skills for Gong. And you could have used this skill, the skill from Da Vinci. On the first turn, it doesn't really matter, as you see. And now, this one is the important one. In this wave, it's gonna matter. That's why I'm using it. And we do need to use the attack from the suit, because otherwise, we wouldn't be able to deal with this enemy. So, yeah, this is gonna make a whole difference. And it's going to allow us to just obliterate the enemy. And done. Yeah. And now I just need to use Oberon along with Da Vinci, and that's it. Pretty simple. Yeah, perhaps it doesn't have the best layout because we are omitting one CE because of Martha, because she does need to charge, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Super important that you use all of your skills on Gong. That's what's making this viable. Um, and that's it. As easy as that. Look, he's gonna obliterate this saber face over here, and done. Pretty simple. Yeah, and have to be friendly because the Oberon is borrow and everything else is from events or 3-star or lower. The only expensive part here is spending those grails, which players should have a lot of grails considering all the missions that we have received from enhancing different servants. So let's go to the next one. Now, for this next round, we're using Aries along with Doman, Waver, and Oberon. Of course, we're using again the decisive battle so that we can exchange party members. And Aries does need as many MP levels as possible. We are using a curse strategy to abuse Aries' special damage on the MP. And that's why we use Doman particularly. Not that I want to use him, but he has the ability to inflict curse on 2 separate skills. And one of those is a battery, so we do need a curse that we can activate later. And because Doman... this one is MP2. That means it's already strong. But it also needs extra damage. That's why I'm using a Super Black Grail. But if you have an extra copy of the event CA, you can go with that. And Waver is going to need to do his NP so that we can abuse the overcharge effect of Aries. And that's why we have a starting NP charge C. So let's do this run. It's pretty simple. We start by charging Doman as much as we can. Basically just his 3rd skill and 2 of Waver's skills. Let's see. 3rd skill. MP up. And there immediately at MP2 with the Black Grail, he won't need any extra help. Though it is a high bar, I know, because not everyone has Doman. You could look for a friend who has Doman. Now, Aries, on the other hand, many people have, thanks to Ibuki. Many people rolled for Ibuki and got some copies of Aries. So we're gonna use her arts up. Then we curse with Doman. We change Doman for Oberon. We use the small charge from Oberon. And we also use the attack up with MP up from the suit. And that's it. With this, we will be able to eliminate the dragon on 1 hit. Pretty simple, yeah, but the number of copies on MP, yeah, not the most FTV friendly, but still, we're not using an MP5 5-star. Well, let's see. For the last one, we just charge Aries and we also use the course. And this is skill 2 because it gives us anti-servant damage. And Mysterious Heroine X is gonna be a servant. We use everything on from Oberon on Aries, and then this is the only thing that really matters, to put the MP in the correct order. First Waver, then Aries, and that should be more than enough to eliminate the target. Yeah, I mean Waver is F2P, but having an Oberon, I mean, we have a button for him right now. And he is something that everyone wants on their accounts, so probably most players do have an Oberon. The difficult part is either having Aries or Doman. And you saw that the enemy survive, but it really depends on RNG. Sometimes it's a 1 hit, sometimes it's not. But you still have 1 face card that you can use to destroy the enemy. And I'm not using Grails on Aries, nor Golden Foes, which is another way to increase her strength. So now let's go to the next one. And on this one, we're using Basically, Draco. Draco you can borrow, but you're gonna need basically two servants in your account. Oberon, because we need the 70% charge. Of course, the waiver, which is F2P, because you can claim it at the start of the game. And here I'm using Morgan. You don't particularly need Morgan. You can go with another attacker. Well, that attacker is slash supporter. We want someone who is able to provide a buff for the whole party, basically for Draco, like the attack up from Morgan, and who is able to clear wave 1. As long as you made those conditions, you can use that servant in the first slot. Here I'm using MP1 Morgan with Black Grail, Super Black Grail. It is not super necessary. It really depends on the strength of the Draco that you're borrowing, because you could just use the MP of waiver on the first wave to clear along with the MP of your other character. That's a thing that you can do. But just arrange your resources depending on the strength of the Draco that you borrow. Basically, that's it. I'm gonna show you my particular run, but this one is it changes depending on the strength of the Draco that you borrow. Mine is already 120 with Golden Foes. She's max out, but she's only MP3. Even so, that's more than enough. And we start by using Draco's skill. Remember to start with the second skill, and then you use the other skills. Then we use waivers skills to charge Morgan, and we use Morgan's skills to charge herself, and that's gonna be more than enough to just eliminate the first wave. Remember, if you need to use waivers MP, do so. It is a viable option, and that's the reason why I have the Charchi still. I mean, it is pretty useful for waiver. Then, for the next one, again, depending on the strength of your characters, you may want to use more buffs or not. You have the buff of the outfit. You have waivers MP. I'm gonna use waivers MP, even though I don't need it. This would be a scenario that most players can just do, using waivers MP to increase the damage of Draco's MP thanks to the defense down. Now that I think about it, my waivers MP is higher. I mean, I have gotten some spare copies, but well, that happens when you roll a lot. Then we just charge with Oberon, and we use the Buster Up over here so that we gain the special effect to increase the damage of the MP. And let's check very quickly. Yeah, this is MP3. God. Well, it doesn't matter. What really matters is that you organize your skills according to the strength of Nero. Yeah, I have said this like 3 times already. But it's doable in any way that you want, as long as you properly organize the buff according to context. It's just that. So, the next one is going to be a run where we finally use Berserker Castoria. So, yeah, the star of the show is finally doing an appearance. It is very easy to borrow a good MP5 Berserker Artoria. But the thing is that most likely a ton of people will want to try this out, even if it's MP level 3, MP level 2, whatever. You're gonna be able to take advantage of this amazing single target unit. And here I have Caster Gill, but you don't need Caster Gill. I'm using Caster Gill in absence of my 6 MP battery at level 10. But I already tested this, and you can use Sig. It is perfectly fine. My Gil, on the other hand, has a good MP level at MP level 4, so he's able to perform good damage while also buffing Castoria. So if you have a guild like this, I mean, it's year 1 or year 2 servant, so most likely you have some copies of this. But if not, you can just go with Sig. And of course we're using the waiver for charge, and we're using Oberon. And I have over here the Black Grill, just to ensure my damage, but you can test and see how much damage you need, and if you can go with something like Golden Sumo or something else. So let's do the last run, and for this one we're gonna start by using all of Gil's skills so that we charge himself and we also increase the damage of the party. Notice that Gil is going to have a 50% chance. I'm not using the... I don't have the mana loading, but he could have even more. So we use all of his skills. We use waivers skills. And with that, we just use the MP. And that should be it. It's strong enough. But as I mentioned, Sig is a very good alternative that you can use. He doesn't buff the whole party, thus not buffing Berserker Castoria, but you don't need to. It's completely okay because she's just that strong. She also has bonus from the bench. She has bonuses from the CE. So she's strong enough as she is. Then I'm gonna put Oberon over here. I'm just gonna use the arts up, followed by the MP damage up, and that should be it, honestly. Well, in case it's not enough, what you can do is that you can use the charge on waiver so that he uses his MP before Castoria so that she deals more damage. Preferably you want to save the attack up from the suit so that you're able to buff the damage on the last turn as much as possible with Oberon's mana burst. So there we go. And done. Yeah, 1.5 million. Well, more than 1.5 million. Lastly, we just use Oberon's charge with Casturia's charge. Having this amount of charge is disgustingly good. I love it. This and done. And if that wasn't enough, we have a Brave Chain. But it is gonna be more than enough. So, as long as you have your Oberon, your waiver, and a unit that can clear the first wave, you can just borrow the Castoria or the Draco and deal with this wave easily, with this stage easily. So yeah, it is pretty simple. Good thing that we don't have to worry about the number of CEs, but let me know in the comments if you care about the number of CEs and you want to see a clear with 6 CEs. Yeah, that's hellish and it's very difficult. It is doable, but God, you need to do some good team building, and you need to have a really strong account for 90++, like that. So anyways, let me know in the comments also your compositions. I want to know what you're using to clear this wave, this stage, because it is very doable as long as you have or borrow a good single target attacker. The only thing that you have to worry about basically is the first wave with someone who is able to clear the wave and buff our main attacker, or just rotate like Aries. Rotate. Well, anyways, that's about it for today. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.